Just wondering if Aiden's going to be able to play this week, if that seems to be the where that's headed.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he was good to go yesterday, have another good day, so he should be good to go on Sunday.
Well, you've been without Jordan Meredith at practice this week. Any status on him?
It's not looking good. I would say doubtful.
What's the plan in his place?
Oh, just go back to how it used to be. Probably Andre James will be at center and Jackson will be back to left guard.
You guys have done a good job of turning the page every week. Have you tried to tweak the message to the players? I mean, I know not to be redundant, I guess, or what's your
We're just fighting for a win, trying to get better, looking for improvement, progress, fight, pride. That's kind of been the message. But really, I mean, we're searching for a win.
What stands out to you with all the injuries about Jacksonville?
I mean, just kind of like us, when you look at the whole league, like everybody's just dealing with stuff. Obviously, the quarterback had a shoulder concussion, so he'll be out. So you're dealing with Mac Jones. I just think the whole league is just one of those years where, they got a tight end that's out. They got one of their receivers out. I mean, everybody's battling with these injuries. I think it's no different than us, but, I think, just like how we're talking about, you got to have 11 guys go out there and there's more opportunities for somebody else.
You guys have lost close games this year. 2 of your last 4 losses, you could have won at the last play type situations. But you're also starting like 7 first or second year players on offense. And you've been through this before. The understanding of how to close games out and win games, it's sort of an art, a talent in itself.
Yeah.
I mean, you want that to happen like right away, but it doesn't always happen like that, I would imagine.
No, I mean, I know you said 7, but I think there's close to 22 to 25 players. Yeah, I'm saying 22 to 25 players, first and second year players. That'll be active come Sunday. So it's part of the process. Words that we don't like talking about, but just trying to find a way to win, overcoming those situations, either set ourselves behind through penalties or mental errors or mistakes like that. But the one thing I'll say, man, these young guys, they're playing their asses off. They're taking advantage of their opportunities. They're going out there, they're competing, they're playing with pride. And, I think, like I said, at some point, like I said after the game, it'll break and it'll go our way. And it will go our way hopefully this Sunday.
Do you find that as your career went on that things got a little bit more clear in those critical moments?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I call it like the Matrix. As I got older, everything slowed down. I can see it. You can see it coming from a mile away. When you're a young guy, you can't see it. When you talk to D-Cam or Jackson, there's certain things that they just don't see right away. And you need repetition. You need that to happen to you. You need to get burnt a couple of times and realize, oh, I can't do that or I can, right? So those are the part of the lessons. You try to mimic that in practice, but there's nothing like practice compared to a game. So I think as a young player, once you learn from your mistakes and you really rep them and you go through it again, as a coaching staff, you put those guys in position again in practice, walkthroughs, things of that nature. So there's a learning curve, if that makes sense, right? So I think our younger guys really do it, and listen, they take a lot of pride in doing their work. Nobody wants to go out there and make a mistake. So I think that's the good part about it. We got guys that's prideful about their work.
When you look at Brian Thomas Jr. from Jacksonville, a young star, what do you see in him, how challenging he's going to be?
Yeah, no, he's a problem. He's a problem. He's a young problem. And, it sucks, because, they're not having the season they want to have. He's not getting enough recognition. But he's a really good football player. Vertically, down the field, run after the catch, yak, big, powerful, strong individual. We're going to have our hands full with him.
This is a quarterback-driven league, and this year you haven't had the best quarterback play. I know there's a lot of reasons, but that's just the reality. How much can a team struggling because of quarterback play make it look like in other places there isn't talent when there is talent on this team, AP?
Yeah, I mean, it's a team. I'm not going to just point at the quarterback, but obviously when you turn the ball over, that hurts you. And we're at the highest in the league as far as turnovers, and a lot of those are with our quarterbacks. We got to do a good job taking care of the football like we always do when we talked about it. Didn't matter if it was Gardner or Aiden or Desmond. All those guys, all we talk about is protecting the football. That's the lifeline. That's our job security. That's why we're all here. But this is a talented team. It just happens to be young right now. We have a lot of, 12 or 14 players on IR. I look at our D-line group. That's not even the same group that we left Costa Mesa with. That'll be starting. So, but, that's the nature of the beast. But obviously, teams that are winning, the quarterback position is one of the ones that's making that happen.
From a defensive lens, when you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, what's a certain position group or just a place that you notice them just playing really good football at?
Those 2 outside linebackers, 44 and 41. I mean, they're really good. Rushing the passer, setting the edge, being disruptive, game changers, forced fumbles. They're really good outside linebackers. Obviously the reason why they went number 1. first round picks, but when you look at them, just how disruptive they are throughout the entire game.
What's the fine line when you're trying to make a play? And what I mean by that is Jack Jones was trying to make a play on Monday, and he said, I was just trying to make a play. Eyes were in the wrong spot. But you know that he's, because of where the record is, he's just trying to make that big splash play. What's kind of the fine line of make that play, try to make it, and also be safe?
Yeah, we always talk about making an educated guess, and that wasn't an opportunity there for him to make that guess. That was a poor guess. But Jack understands that. Jack, I mean, he's a human highlight. I mean, it's either good or bad with him, right? That's kind of how the season's been with him, and he understands that. That's something we constantly talk about: his eye discipline, his technique, his fundamentals. Having his eyes in the right place, doing what he's asked to do. And I always remind him, even since I've been with him since he was 13, all his interceptions, big plays, is when he just does his job, and he doesn't force it, right? Every time he forces it, that's when it goes opposite for him. So, again, that's a learning curve, right? Here's a guy that's trying to make a game-changing play for us down in the red zone or the fringe area, and it winds up hurting us. So, what I love about Jack, though, I would say this: after that play, he bounced back very strong, tackled well, covered his man, did everything he was supposed to do. But that's a hard lesson to learn.
You see a player like Clavon who's had the opportunity to go as a first-round pick and then being released by that team, Carolina Panthers. Now he gets to face this old team as a Raider. What do you see from him this week and getting hyped up for the game?
Well, obviously, it's personal for him. His team that drafted him, let him go. But I'm just talking about, KC, the player for us. I mean, I think he's done an outstanding job since he's gotten here, bought into what we want to do. Robbie Leonard and Andre have done a good job of kind of just fitting him in. And I don't know, over the last month, he's been kind of wrecking havoc, either in the passing game, has an interception, obviously getting after the quarterback, but then in the running game. With all the injuries, he's been a bright spot for us. Somebody that, obviously has tier 1 traits as a first-round pick. But I think he's kind of found his home here, and we're happy to have him on our side.
Coach, I'm curious, with a player like Sincere McCormick who was doing so well and everybody was talking, hyping him up and everything, towards the end of the season getting that, injury, what kind of advice do you give him and how does that affect him as a player, being that this is a business after all?
Well, I think first and foremost, he put himself in a good position for the offseason. Get him healthy, get him back out there. But he's shown enough in those 3 or 4 games where you say, wow, he has something to him, right? And you look at the offseason when we get there with Telesco and just see where he fits in that role. But I think he's done a good job. I think he's done a good job of taking advantage of his opportunities. And again, just like I've been talking about, it's been kind of the nature of the business and the beast for us this year with injuries. We got to just get him back and get him healthy.
You mentioned Clavon getting a new look. I asked him yesterday about the fact that it seems like he's back having fun like he did in college. And what is it about sometimes a change of view can change a player, AP?
Well, I think that too. And then also, putting your arm around him, loving him. And also the culture and the way our locker room is and the way that D-line group, that's a very tight-knit group. Even with Max and Christian out, those guys are always in here and doing things together constantly. So, like I said, he's kind of just fit in. Like, I think initially he's trying to find his way. And then once he found his way, I mean, we're reaping the benefits of his play right now. But he is happy. He's kind of finding himself. He's like, AP, I like it here. I want to be a Raider. And that's kind of good. That's things that you want to have happen when you bring guys in who it didn't work out. Because a lot of first rounders, when it doesn't work out for them, they kind of just go to the wayside and feel sorry for themselves. He's taking advantage of every opportunity.
You referred to a bad day at the office for special teams last week. What was the process this week for kind of getting it back, and how confident are you the communication's
Yeah, a little personnel changes, getting the groove back, building confidence back in them. That's a good group. They've been one of our better units all year, our punt team. And they had a bad day, right? It was some miscommunication there. And obviously, like I said, we made some personnel changes and expect to have a great day on Sunday.
You were talking about Chase On. We've talked about Tyree Wilson a lot. What is it about Robbie Leonard? It seems like he just gets the most out of all those guys.
I mean, think about it, Jonah, Zach Carter. I mean, Robbie Leonard's done a really good job. Robbie Leonard's a really good coach, And I wouldn't be shocked if he's a defensive coordinator at some point.
Good.
Cool. All right.
Thanks,
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.